Hello, online world geography students, and welcome to another week of online learning. I'm Mr. Clark, your world geography teacher. Just put that out there. First thing I want to say this week is if you have any questions on anything, please shoot me an email. I would really love to help. And second, if you want a video chat, if you feel like you're struggling, you don't really know what's going on, shoot it to me. I can meet most days. Sometimes during the day, sometimes after school. I can also meet every Friday. I would love to help out. So if you need help, please reach out. I'm here to help. All right, let's go through this week's work. So just like in every weekly video I've showed you, there is links here to work due this week. This week we have an Edpuzzle, a Nearpod, and then there's an assignment called Applying Factors of Climate. Now, I put this link here where it says continue work in Unit C. Basically, everything we've done in second quarter is in Unit C. So if you haven't done anything yet, just start at the beginning of Unit C, click Next until you're done. This week, we are going to start on the South American Edpuzzle. So you can reach that through modules. If you open this, it'll take you to our Module C, and it starts you right here. You just start here and you click through until you get to here. Okay? Now, if you are caught up from last week, you can instead just click on what is due this week. And we're going to start with a South American Edpuzzle. This is going to give you a quick introduction into South America. Normally in class, I'd have you color a map, but it doesn't really make sense to color a map on a computer. So instead, you watch a video about South America. It's really short. It's only 5 minutes. It's got 6 questions. Answer those questions as you go through the film. You can't skip ahead. And then you submit it. It's pretty simple, guys. So make sure you do that. Next, you can click on the next assignment, or you can just hit next and it goes through to the next assignment, which is a wind and atmospheric pressure Nearpod. This Nearpod explains how that axis and revolution of our planet around the sun doesn't just affect climate with those latitude bands like we've been looking at, but it also affects precipitation, specifically through wind and atmospheric pressure. Take a look at this, and this will give you all the information you need. Make sure you're doing these activities, because if you don't do these activities, you don't get credit for the Nearpod. When you're done with the Nearpod, the last assignment we're going to do is an assignment called Applying Factors of Climate. You open it like this, always click on it to open it up, and that will get us to this assignment here. Now, it says use the maps below to analyze how the various factors that impact climate, latitude, elevation, wind, ocean currents, landforms, and air pressure, latitude, elevation, wind, ocean currents, landforms, and air pressure influence the climate of real cities. So the first thing we're going to take a look at is Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. I was lucky enough to go to Rio de Janeiro, Brazil when I was, I think, 16 or 17. Wow, what a beautiful city. If you are unfamiliar, this is what it looks like. Big old cool metropolis area with a big, beautiful sandy beach. This thing right here is called Sugarloaf. It's also famously known for having this big Jesus Christ statue. As it's kind of looking over the city is the idea. It was originally settled by the Portuguese as they were sailing from Portugal around the tip of Africa to get to the Spice Islands, where they dominated trade for decades. Now, we are looking at this Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. It is right here on the coast. And we see where it is, and we're going to compare it to the map showing latitude belts. How would the latitude of Rio de Janeiro impact the climate there? So remember, we have polar or high latitude belt. This is also a high latitude belt. This is a mid latitude belt or a temperate climate. And then in between the tropics, we have a low latitude belt or tropical climate. Rio is right at the edge of this tropical climate, but is still very much tropical. They don't really get 4 seasons. They have a wet season and a dry season. So due to the latitude belt, we know that it will have 12 hours of sunlight. You can all just type this down: 12 hours of sunlight, 12 hours of dark, pretty much year round. It does not have 4 distinct seasons. It only has 1 or 2, a wet and a dry season, or a rainy and a dry season. So that is how being in the low latitude or tropical climate belt affects Rio de Janeiro. Next, we're going to look at the maps showing ocean currents. Now, if you remember from the Nearpod, it kind of explains these ocean currents, where warm currents come north and south from the equator, and cold ocean currents come up from or down from the polar regions to the equator. So notice that the wind and the ocean currents are blowing warm water towards Rio de Janeiro. So due to warm ocean currents blowing across Rio de Janeiro, it will be warm and it will be very wet and humid. Notice as well, like I was talking about the Portuguese, these are all currents that would allow them very easily to sail from Portugal to Rio de Janeiro. Perfect stopping point before they sail down here. The ocean currents pick them up and take them up into the Indian Ocean. Pretty cool. Even world discovery isn't just brought to you by man's inventions, but the way that they are moved due to the way the earth functions. It's just so fascinating. All right. Here we are. So we've talked about the climate of Rio de Janeiro being warm due to prevailing winds and ocean currents. Using all the information gathered above, describe what the overall climate is like in Rio de Janeiro. So a couple sentences here. What I would say is Rio de Janeiro has a warm climate. It does not have 4 distinct seasons due to being in the tropical belt. Due to prevailing warm ocean currents, it receives warm weather, and due to prevailing winds, it receives substantial rainfall, making it a tropical, warm, wet climate. Okay, you're going to do that same thing with our place here in the United States near Salt Lake City. You are then going to do that with Norway, and you are going to do that with Ecuador, Quito. That is it for that assignment, and that is it for this week. Again, if you guys have questions, please reach out to me. Don't suffer. I'm here to help. I would love to help. I am going to post this video right here and a thumbnail of it right here. Shout out to my friend Nate that was in this picture I took a few winters ago. Hopefully you guys are digging the photos. These are all photos I've taken over a lot of years. And here we are in this week. Hope you guys are all staying safe out there. Again, reach out if you need something, please. All right. As we say here at the fort, we love you, we care about you, make it a great day.